Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Ryan Clifton Boland. I want to get right down to it. It never amazes me about the far left's agenda and what they are trying to accomplish. The far left, as we all know, have pervaded just about every institution in our society, from politics, the school system, religion, and the entertainment industry. And what I mean by the entertainment industry, I'm not just merely talking about movies and sitcoms and TV shows and so forth, but I am also talking about comic books. And the particular far leftist agenda that I am talking about in specifics is the LGBTQ agenda. Now, yes, there is an actual agenda being pushed with this concept, okay? And that the objective is our children. The objective is our children. But I'm not going to go into that too much further. What I want to do, I'm going to read to you a portion of an article that I read out of Red State, and it is in reference to the Superman comic books and what they're trying to push through these comic books. Now, some of you probably are already familiar with this, but I'm going to read a portion of this article, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on this whole situation. Okay? We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this agenda. The title of the article is Woke Superman Apparently Doesn't Sell. Woke Superman Apparently Doesn't Sell. DC Comics, the publisher of comic books icons like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, has gone all in on woke messaging, particularly where LGBT representation is concerned. Now, before I go any further, let me just point out once again, this is not an attack against people who choose that lifestyle. And what I mean by people who choose that lifestyle, I'm talking about consenting adults. This is not an attack against them. This is not in any way trying to attack them or demoralize them or put them down in any shape, form, or way. Okay? It's not an attack against them in any way. This, I want to deal with our children, our youth. Okay? So let's continue with this article. Over the summer, they had a massive Pride special comic that featured many LGBT characters and was intended to show a spotlight on how diverse its characters' offerings are. If you'll recall, DC recently shifted things around and Clark Kent, Kal-El, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not a comic book person. Went off world, leaving the mantle of Superman to his son. A little way into the series, it is revealed that the younger Kent is bisexual. DC Comics made a really big deal about this. It got write-ups all over the place, including the New York Times. Everyone was talking about it, and that particular issue of the series went on to allegedly get amazing sales. But those sales appear to have dried up, and I'm going to read this portion, and we're going to get into our discussion. I'm going to give you my view on this. The annual for Superman, Son of Kal-El, did come out in December, and it fell off the top 50 chart completely when it came to unit sales. The book did place 45 on ICV2's top 50 comic books by dollars charts in December. Not only was his narrative shoddy when he posted all of these tweets in January, but the new January sales chart from ICV2 confirmed it. Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 6, barely made it on the unit chart. It was in 42nd place. On the top 50 comic books by dollars chart, it was in 50th, dead last on the list. It was clear in January that Taylor's thread was a deflection given he never showed any numbers, and it's abundantly clear now. It's likely without another major gimmick like making Superman gay, which is what they did in Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 5, that the book will fall off the charts in February. And I'm going to complete the ending. I'm going to end on that note there. You can read the rest of that article in the description box. I have a link to it in the description box below. But I wanted to just talk just a few moments on what I believe is an agenda to get at our young people. I said this in several videos before, but it just keeps coming back to me because what I'm finding out is just how pervasive the far left is becoming. They're becoming more pervasive. They're becoming more intensive. It looks like everywhere you go, this agenda is being pushed. This LGBTQ, this transgenderism. And like I said before, this is not an attack against adults. Okay, that's your choice. You're a consenting adult. You do your thing. I don't do it. I don't endorse it. I don't promote it. But you do it. You're a consenting adult. It doesn't add to me. It doesn't take from me. But when it comes to my son and when it comes to the children in general in America, I see something nefarious is going on, and the devil is a lie. And that's why we're going to expose to expose this kind of activity, because there is no way anyone can justify this and say, well, we're trying to educate our children to be more accepting. Okay, that is not accepting. What you're trying to do, as far as I'm concerned, you're trying to make this normalize this. But I don't want to go get too much into detail with that, because I got something else I want to read to you guys that I believe is going to blow your mind. But there clearly, in my view, is an agenda trying to be pushed. You see this everywhere. You see it in the movies. You see it in the schools. You see it. And when I say schools, I mean K through 12, the universities. You see it in commercials. You see it everywhere. Why is there such a push for this type of agenda? Why is the far left so adamant about pushing this kind of agenda? Something dark and evil is going on here. And I believe one of the reasons is because people are waking up. Parents are being more vocal. People are being more vocal on both sides. They're beginning to see, wait a minute, something's not right about this. This is attacking our children. This is it's planting seeds in the minds of our children. And here's the thing. Aren't too many children that are actually born that way, born gay. I mean, how many children are actually born saying I was born gay? Even if they are born that way, why would you promote material that helps? And I don't believe, in my opinion, that any child is actually born that way. I believe there's other issues that go on there. I believe there's spiritual concepts that go along with that. And I believe there's also psychological concepts. But I don't believe, in my opinion, that people are actually born that way. Okay, they say that, but I don't believe it. But it's a whole nother story, and I'm not going to get into that. I digress. But why would you create a platform to help promote a lifestyle that is not normal? If it was normal to be that way, if it was normal, then why would you need to push it so hard? Clearly, it's not normal. What I believe the far left is doing is they're trying to normalize, and even the writer in this particular article, and I agree with them wholeheartedly because I already had that same mindset. They're trying to normalize this among children, not among adults. It's already normal among adults that want to live their lifestyle. It's normal among them. It's the children that they want to normalize this with. Now, why the children? Because the children will be the leaders of the next generation. They will be the next politicians, the next school teachers, the next preachers, if you want to call them that. You know, they will be the next leaders in the America of the future. And the far left, the agitators, need these kind of people in positions of authority so that they can influence the next generation and the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. It's a generational thing. So it's the children that they want to get. It's the children they're after. But as I said, I believe that parents are waking up, adults are waking up, and they're exposing this. They're attacking this. They're coming out and they're saying, you're not going to have my child's mind. You're not going to corrupt my child's mind by trying to say that this stuff is educational. That's a bunch of nonsense. How is trying to teach that kind of stuff educational? You can inform them that it exists, but to try to normalize it among them, you know exactly what you're doing, far left. You know exactly what you're doing. Now, I said earlier that I was going to read something to you guys that I believe is going to blow your mind, that it actually supports the idea that there is an agenda in the homosexual community. And when I say the homosexual community, I'm talking about the far left, the ones with the power. Not all, okay? All the people that may endorse in that lifestyle that are gay, they are not out trying to change young people, okay? They're not out trying to change young people. Most of these people going about their lives, they're not thinking about any of this stuff. I'm talking about the far left, the radical left, the power brokers, the business tycoons, the politicians, these evil satanic people are trying to push this. Okay, these are the people that make my stomach tie up in knots, and I'm going to show you that there is an agenda that's been going on for some decades. Now, I want to read something out of you, and some of you have heard of him, Mark Dice. He wrote a book about a couple of years ago called Hollywood Propaganda. This is one of my favorite, but I have all of his books. This is one of my favorites. The reason for that is because it's so well researched. He gives all the information at the bottom, and he gives all the sites, all the sources of his information at the bottom. And this guy really lays it out on this. Now, he wrote a section on the gay community. He wrote a section on the gay community. And here's something he says, and I'm going to quote his words. Okay, I'm going to give you Mark Dice's opinion on this. And in this section, Mark Dice quotes the actual words of a magazine called Gay Community News that came out February 15, 1987. And I'm going to post a link of it in the description box so you can go to it yourself to see it yourself. That this magazine actually has words that show that there was and is an agenda to get our children. And this is what Mark Dice says. In 1987, Gay Community News, a popular LGBT publication at the time, admitted the, quote, gay revolution would require the use of entertainment in order to be achieved, saying, and now he's quoting the very words of these people, this magazine, "We shall sodomize your songs, emblems of your feeble masculinity, of your shallow dreams and vulgar lies. We shall seduce them," talking about your children, "in your schools." Who else were they talking about? We shall seduce them in your schools. Who do you think they're talking about? The teachers? Are you kidding me? "In your youth groups," clearly the children. "In your movie theater bathrooms, wherever men are men together. Your sons will become our minions and do our bidding. They will be recast in our image. They will come to crave and adore us." End quote. End quote. Now, just based off of that quote from that magazine written all the way back, that publication written all the way back in 1987, don't you think there is an agenda to push this among your children? The purpose is to get our children. It's the children they want. It's not the adults. Because the children's minds are pliable. They're young. They lack judgment. They lack the ability to analyze. Their minds are still weak. And if they can get the weak-minded ones, they can mold their minds into the image that they want for the future. But that's why I believe that, in my closing in this video, that's why I believe that more and more parents should ask questions about what's being taught in the schools. Son, daughter, what do they teach you in the schools? Get more involved. What I mean by getting more involved, let's face it, a lot of parents just don't have the time to go to school board meetings and so forth. They just don't have the time. And that's understandable. I certainly don't. I don't live with my son. He lives with his mom, and I'm not going to get into all the detail with it, but I stay in contact with him. I ask him questions. I pour into him the things that he needs to be a successful young man. When we were together, I was always teaching him. When me and my ex was together, I was always teaching him and informing him. So certain things are in him that I put in him, okay? But I stay in contact with him. I ask him questions. And that's the same thing. I believe that parents should continue to be involved in their children. If they can't go to these meetings or so forth, when your child comes home and you have the time, just ask them, son, daughter, what do they teach you in school? You know, if they say, well, I don't want to say anything, say, no. You the parent. I believe that as a parent, we should put our foot down and say, wait a minute, enough is enough. You're going to tell me what they're teaching. Because you have some teachers, I think I was reading somewhere where it was saying that there are certain curriculums and certain school boards, rather, not curriculum, but school boards that actually advocate not telling the parents what they're teaching. The devil is a lie. Okay, the devil is a lie. Parents, you have a right to know what's going on, and you should ask your children questions. Now, in my closing, let me say this. For those of you who are Christians that may be watching this video, you know what time this is. You know that this is a spiritual battle. It's not just in the three-dimensional realm. Remember what the Apostle Paul said in Ephesians 6 chapter, New Testament? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, for those of you who are Christian that are watching this video, you know that we have to pray alongside informing. Okay, so because it's a spiritual battle. It takes place in the unseen realm, and it affects the three-dimensional realm that we live in. Okay, so those of us who are Christians, or those of us who are spiritual, we need to be praying and asking God to move on our behalf. Okay, but for all of us in general, let's continue to fight this fight. Let's continue to fight the good fight. Let's continue to expose this and inform and inform the public about this, and continue to ask our sons and daughters and children what's going on in the schools, so that we can expose this more. Because the more people that whose eyes are open to this agenda, the more we can fight. Okay, the battle is not over yet. The battle is not over yet. The far radical left has not won the battle. The reason why they have not been able to completely destroy this country is because you have people whose eyes are opening up, and I believe personally, this is my personal opinion, and I'm preaching, but I believe personally that God is holding back certain things for this country. He's holding it back. He's holding the far radical left back. It's not time yet, because we still got people here whose eyes are starting to open. America don't have to end like this. America doesn't have to become a socialist country. America doesn't have to become a communist country. No, it don't have to. Other countries like Cuba and Russia and China, they ended up being that way, but we don't have to be that way. It can be stopped. It can change if we keep pushing. All right. So I just wanted to say that. What do you guys think? Leave your comment in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again.